Okay guys, so you want to live in Los Angeles. Today I'm going to go over the pros and cons. I've been living in LA for 5 years now. I just passed the 5-year mark and I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot. The city might not be what you think. It's a great place, but today I'm going to go over 4 pros and 4 cons about living in Los Angeles. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Pro number 1, it's a major city. So by being here, you're just gonna be in the mix of everything. You're in a major US city. I think LA is the second biggest city besides New York, and that's just by population size. I think as far as landmass goes, LA actually takes the cake for being the biggest city, I believe, in the whole United States. So being in a major city, there's a lot to do here. There's a lot of good food places to eat. You're young, there's a lot of young people here. It's just a lot of different communities that you can be a part of. It's a beautiful city, it's a wonderful city. You would probably like it here if you wanna be in a major city. Pro number 2, if you're creative, if you do anything that's like in the creative field, this is the perfect place to be. Everybody here is a musician, an actor, a model, an artist, a comedian. LA is the type of place where like you'll meet people that are working regular jobs, but people are like, okay, I work, but I also do comedy at night. I work, but I'm also a musician. I do gigs on the side. I work, but I'm also an aspiring actor. That's just the type of place that LA is. It's the crowd that it attracts to it, for better or for worse. So if you're into creative things, you have a creative endeavor, you have a creative dream, everybody out here has a dream, and it makes you feel not weird or bad for having something that you want to do that's like in the creative field. Pro number 3, it's such a beautiful city and there's so many different terrains. So within a 2 to 3 hour driving distance of LA, you have the mountains up in Big Bear, snowy mountains where you can go skiing. You have the desert out in Joshua Tree. LA is actually one big desert. There's palm trees here, but they planted them, a little secret. Palm trees here aren't real, they're not like in Florida. They planted the palm trees here, but it's actually a big desert. So you drive like 2 hours to the east, you hit Joshua Tree, which is like a wonderful desert place. If you drive 4 or 5 hours east, you hit Vegas, so we're really close to that. The weather is always good. It rarely drops below like 40 degrees, but it doesn't even really get into the 40s that often. Usually like when it gets cold around here, it's like in the 50s, so it's good. The weather's really good here. And pro number 4, for my guys out there, I personally believe the women in LA are the most beautiful women in the whole United States. And hear me out for that. I've been in many US major markets. I'm from Florida. I used to go to Miami all the time. I've lived in New York City. I lived out there for almost a year. I've been to Atlanta, to Baltimore, certain areas of Texas. And out of anywhere that I've been, I believe the women in LA are actually the most beautiful. They're the most sexy, they're the most pretty. I think LA is a very vain place. It's Hollywood. Everybody here is trying to do something. First con about living in LA, con number 1, is that I touched on it before a little bit, but it's actually a very vain place. People in LA are very much, I wanna say, kind of like self-centered, me. And because it's such a creative town, it's such a creative city, it's known to kind of have like a climbing mentality where people will almost try to climb a social ladder or like a social status type of thing to try to get to like where they want to go. And because of that, it kind of makes it hard to make real, genuine friendships. Con number 2 about living in Los Angeles is, of course, the cost of living. Right now, like at the time of this video coming out in February of 2023, the average cost of a 1-bedroom apartment is around $2,100, $2,200. My girl, she just got an apartment and I believe she's paying $2,200 for a 1-bedroom apartment in like an okay part of town. It's not a bad part of town, but it's not like the super best part of town. It's not in Beverly Hills or anything. So $2,200 for a 1-bedroom apartment is really expensive. I know with inflation in the US, things are going up, but that's the cost of living as far as apartments go. Car prices are pretty expensive here. Gas is like $4.50 a gallon, and it was $5 a gallon. It just was $5 a gallon because of inflation, but now it's a little bit lower, but it's a very expensive place to live. Con number 3, there's kind of an ominous vibe that's over the city. Hear me out. It's not just me that says this. I've heard other people, multiple people say it. There's like an evil energy that kind of sits above LA. Some people say LA was built on like an Indian reservation or like an Indian burial ground. Other people say that like the hills are haunted and there's something in the hills. I don't know what it is, but I felt it at multiple points in living out here that there is like a weird vibe that's going on out here, and I don't really know, can't really put my finger on what it is per se, but if you come here and you're here for a while, You kind of like see some strange things, and it's just like a little bit weird sometimes. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And the final con about living in LA, for me at least, con number 4, is that it feels if you're not famous or like an influencer, you don't get some of the perks that other people get that are. So hear me out. In other places that I've been to, other cities and stuff, like even major cities, if you're not famous, you're not doing anything, you're not an influencer, you still feel like a person at least. Here in LA, because it is such a place that's based on like social status and how many Instagram followers you have, or if you're a TikToker, or if you're a YouTuber, or if you're a model, sometimes it feels like if you're just like a normal person trying to like work a job and just live your life, it almost kind of feels like you're devalued in some situations. Now that depends on like what situations that you're in, what social group you're in, who your friends are. It all depends on like what you're trying to do, but it does feel like more than other places, if you're not famous or an influencer in LA, that you can feel a little bit left out sometimes. As you can see, LA has like some ups and downs, some pros and some cons. I feel like the pros probably do outweigh the cons. I've been here for about 5 years, so that has to tell you at least a little bit something. I've been here long enough to not leave just yet. I don't know if I want to live in LA for the rest of my life. I'm still very young, I'm only 23. If you're new to the channel, my name is Alton. Welcome, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with another video really soon.